What's it like being locked inside of a prison cell? Now that's what I'm talking about in this episode, people. And as you can see, the background is a lot different to what it normally is with the green screen prison background. So this comes in with a couple of different things because my subscribers and viewers do ask about this type of content. What's it actually like being locked up all day inside of a prison cell? But for me, being locked up was having a vision like this. I'm inside of a villa with me family, me wife, and me 4 kids. I'm in a friend's villa at the moment until we get into our own villa, which is on getting fully furnished, and we should be in there in the next couple of weeks. So I wanted to come on and do this video, and I am going to be talking about what it's like being locked inside of a prison cell. Now that varies from person to person, and it varies depending on what you want for your future, what you want for your vision. And as I'm doing this, there's a light flashing there. So do please forgive me because I'm not doing any edits in this video. I haven't got time today. But what I am going to do is quickly pause this and turn it round so that the light is off and it's a bit brighter. And now you get to see me lovely bed and the artwork behind us. So getting back to it, what's it like inside of a prison cell? So for me, inside of the prison cell, it was that was my vision, that was my reality. But being locked inside of a prison cell is daunting. Again, it depends on the individual. For me, again, I didn't give a shit. The mindset I was in my 20s when I went inside. But when I went back in, when I was 35 on the recall, I'm now 40, went back in on the recall, it was a whole different ballgame because I was married and I had 4 kids at home waiting for us. And I was IPP, stuck on an indeterminate sentence, not knowing when I would be released. So being locked in the cell is, like I've just said, daunting at first because it doesn't matter who you are, when you first land inside a prison and you're on the induction wing and you're behind that door and you can hear about 100 prisoners out on association, that's if your door's still banged up, all running around the wing, bunch of lunatics running around trying to get the fix, and you're behind that door and you're thinking, I wonder who's out there, what's going to happen, what scenario is going to unfold when you're out there on association. And especially if you're in a prison where you don't know anyone, because you do get sent to prisons out of your area. And when you're sent to prisons out of your area, you're not going to know many people unless you've been in and out of prison. Then you know people. Doesn't matter what jail you go to, you'll know somebody. But when you're in there and that prison door slams and you're left with your thoughts alone in that cell, that's when shit becomes real. You've got to deal with yourself, deal with your problems. And if you've got a pad mate, you've unfortunately got to deal with him as well, which is a fucking headache. For me, I'm one of the lads that when you're in jail doesn't like having a pad mate because it's hard enough coping and dealing with your own demons and your own thoughts without some fucker else and dealing with their problems, whinging on, smelling their fucking shit when they're shitting in the pad. And when you're riddled with anxiety, can't sleep on a night time, then he's either snoring or tossing and turning on his bunk, and it's things like that irritate the life out of you. Now, there will be people piping up on here as well, which I should have said at the beginning. Why the fuck are you still talking about prison stuff when you're out there in Thailand living the dream? The reason being is because that is actually contributing towards me living out here. My YouTube, TikTok, Instagram and Facebook is actually giving me a good living, and it's actually helped me live my dream and come out here and live out here in Thailand and pay for my expenses. So that is one of the reasons, or the main reason rather, why I'm continuing with the content. Also, the viewers and the subscribers love this type of content, more so the ones who haven't been inside. You might get the ones who have been inside and will pipe up, chat a little bit of shit, saying it's nothing like that. But believe you me, true facts on this channel, speaking from an insider, someone who has been inside the prison system and spent nearly 7 years inside a prison on an IPP sentence. So, like I say, the title of the video is What's It Like Inside of a Prison Cell? Obviously, I'm talking about what's it like in prison, but getting off topic, but it's all to do with prison, and you're all loving it. So, if you're one of them people that don't give a fuck, haven't got much on the outside, haven't got nothing going for you, love getting off your head, then when you're in this prison, the prisons, the UK prisons are absolutely ram-packed with anything you want to get your hands on. There's that much happening. They're understaffed, they're overcrowded, they can't handle the prison system. There's that much getting flown in. It's a fucking non-stop party for some people inside a prison. But that's if you're in that type of mindset, if that's what you want. If you want to get off your nut, go through your sentence, not achieving anything, coming out worse than when you went in, and coming out with a habit, then that's not the way to be. But like I say, if you're one of the ones that just off your nut all the time, being inside your pad, you didn't give a shit, because if you're on the spizzle, you haven't got a clue where the fuck you're at. You're that monged out your head, killing all the brain cells. It doesn't even feel like you're inside a prison. Because I've asked some of them when I was in the last time. Because when I was in doing my IPP, I was released in 2010. There wasn't any of that spice and stuff inside when I was there. It came about after that, just after 2010. So when I went back in nearly 10 years later, all these spice heads off the nuts, gouging out. You're looking at them, they're in a vulnerable state on the floor, buckled up, can't even move. And I said to the lad that was in the pad next door, I said, what enjoyment are you getting out of that? Because I used to look through his flat to see if he's all right, and he's just be on his bed in a comatose state, looking like a cabbage. And I says, what enjoyment are you getting out of that? And he says, well, whilst I'm on it, I'm not in prison. I says, what do you mean by that? He says, I spent 3 weeks on the spice in a comatose state, and it felt like he wasn't even in prison. Felt like he'd been out for a year. He was that out of his head. But these are the type of people that are in and out continuously, and being inside of a prison cell is no different to being outside in a one-bed apartment or in a fucking hostel for that matter, because they're doing it in the hostels as well. And it doesn't matter where you are. They're getting off the nuts and they don't know where they're at. So being inside a prison cell doesn't mean jack shit to these lunatics. But being inside a prison cell, someone like myself, who's level-headed, an entrepreneur, business-minded, can't stop thinking about how to better your lifestyle, earn a decent, honest living the legal way, thinking about business ideas, thinking about how to create the best life for your family because you've let them down. Prison becomes an environment where you can create that better future and fucking put your business ideas into action. Lay out the fucking blueprints ready for when you get out and put them all into action and create a better future from inside that prison cell. Inside the prison cell, I wrote my book, Behind the Bars, Ruthless Fitness, which has sold thousands of copies worldwide. So for me, being inside a prison cell was the best thing that ever happened to us. But it's your mindset. You've got to be able to want that and want that change. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a routine, because people be thinking, well, you're just blabbing on about what you were like inside a prison, and not like the title says, what's it like inside of a prison cell. So when you first get in, if you're in a single, we'll just say a single first, you've got a single bed. You've got your wardrobe, if you're lucky, because most of the time they've been smashed up. All you've got is your bed, your toilet, and one bog roll, or a toilet roll, because people might not know the term bog roll. Might be a Geordie slang, I'm not too sure. But anyways, you get your bog roll, you get your plastic cutlery, and you get your little shitty plate, which is the size of a child's meal plate. And that's what you've got. You've got that inside of your cell, and it is bleak, stark, The colours are dark and dingy, and it's just horrible. The snot's scraped all over the walls. There's hockle on the walls. The walls are a mess. It's scruffy as out. It's a horrible, shitty environment to be in. When you get a pad and you know that you're settled on a certain wing, you'll get the pad cleaners in. The cleaners, rather, or the painters, sorry. You clean the pad yourself. You scrub it down. You get the painters in. That's if you're a clean living person. Because a lot of them continue to do that. They'll get inside a scruffy, shitty, dingy pad, hockle on the walls, spit, fucking snots all over the place, stinking little shithole, don't even empty the bins, rubbish all over. I've seen some stinking horrible pads in me time. But if you're someone that takes pride in yourself, you'll scrub the pad as much as you don't want to because it's stinking and it's full of shite. You scrub that pad, you scrub that toilet, you get the pad painted, and you make it your home. You make it as comfy and as clean as you possibly can. So your life inside of there is a little bit better. You can get some decent posters. A lot of the time, you would buy them off the other lads who had posters already. You can buy them, but it takes weeks, sometimes months on end to get your posters in. But again, if you've got some decent posters up, looking around, a little bit of decent scenery, tropical pictures like that outside, I will show you again pictures of stuff like that. It is a little bit dark because it is rainy season, but it's still 30 odd degrees and absolutely lovely. But if you had pictures like that up in your pad, which I did, pictures of palm trees, pictures of beaches, and you can envision that, look at that and think, that's what I want, that's what you're going to get. If you want it, you will get it. Just because you're stuck inside a prison, in that cell, unless you're a natural lifer and you're never getting out, or you're someone who's doing a massive tariff, still you can create that vision in your head for when you get out. So that's what it's like inside of a prison cell. So that's just covered a few different topics about the inside of a prison and the inside of a prison cell, but I will do more on this type of content. If you are still watching, let us know in the comment section if you want more of these type of videos. I will do videos as in what's it like on a day-to-day basis, your routine, your food, different things like that. Although I did cover this a couple of years back, I will do refreshing content about this sort of stuff. That's if you want to see it. So let us know in the comment section. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. And remember to comment, like, and subscribe.